Because oftentimes when I am invited, and it's always great, I don't know, I do a panel or a talk show or something, I get asked as a woman, how do you balance your life? How do you achieve your balance? Now, incidentally, I've never, ever been on a panel or in an interview where a man has been asked that question. However, I digress. And what I always answer is, I don't even attempt to balance it. Because guess what? You're not in control. Sometimes the waves are little, sometimes they're medium, sometimes they're huge. It's about how strong are you, how tough are you, how deep can you dig in and stay standing, and if it knocks you over, can you get back up, even if it needs help? And that's really what it's about. It's about resilience and being as strong as you can, emotionally, psychologically, physically, to be able to stand your ground. And so for me, you know, I don't know if you're a Wonder Woman and you are a great, you know, you work out and you eat well and you're a macrobiotic chef and you have fabulous children and you're married to a superstar, or, well, that would be Gwyneth Paltrow. But anyway, maybe we're not all quite so fabulous. And I'm sure she would stand here and say that it's not balanced for her either. But it's not possible to do everything super well. Sometimes you have to be great, sometimes you have to be good, and sometimes you just have to show up. And that's okay too. And so I learned that from my mum. And my mum taught us that girls can do anything. Girls can do anything. It never occurred to me there was a glass ceiling. It never occurred to me that there was any obstacle in my way. I grew up in a household of girls, raised by a woman who was resilient. I went to the Brownies and then the Girl Scouts. You know, well, in America we're called the Girl Scouts, Girl Guides in the UK and here. I went to an all-girls school, and then I came into an industry that's 98% women. So one could call me blissfully naive, I suppose. As I came into the world, it never occurred to me that girls didn't do absolutely everything, because anyone I'd ever seen that was doing anything was a girl or a woman. And I thought that was great. And that everything was shared 50-50. We need men and women. We need yin and yang. We need both voices at the table. It's not about one or being competitive or one's better than the other. It's different. We need both. That's why both were created, surely. And so with this kind of mindset, I said about my life. And I went to beauty school and I became a skin therapist. I became an apprentice. I then became a junior and a skin therapist. And that apprenticeship system, which I think is a fantastic system of learning and mentoring by other women who were skin therapists. And went on to spend fantastic years here in South Africa. And I worked as a skin therapist in Cape Town. I worked for a skin therapist in Sea Point. Her name was Shirley Gelb. She gave me my first job in South Africa. The name of the salon was Face Place. And I told her I was fantastic. And once she'd seen me wax, she said, okay, listen, you're okay, but you're not good enough for me. And she proceeded to teach me how really to wax. And she said, if you're going to work in Sea Point over December when the Johannesburg clients come down, you better be good. She also said to me, if you can satisfy my client base here in Sea Point, I promise you'll be able to work anywhere in the world and do well. And she was right. I had a great, great time. And then I emigrated to the States. I got to California. It was a 10.4% unemployment. I thought it was bad then. It's at 14% right now. Global economic downturn, as we all know. I actually think it makes us more creative, though, and innovative and resilient. But when I got there, and Raymond and I basically arrived together with a suitcase each, we weren't going to be able to get a job. No one was hiring. And so we set about thinking, what could we do? And in that entrepreneurial spirit that I know many of you embrace, you look for the opportunity. And you find an opportunity by looking for the pain. When you've identified the greatest pain in an industry, you've now identified the greatest opportunity. Where does it hurt? And in my industry, the greatest pain in California at that stage was there was a lack of training. It was a 4-month training to become a licensed skin therapist, 600 hours. Now, I have 2 daughters, 17 and 12. I think I was in labor longer than 600 hours. So it absolutely was not enough to become a skin therapist the way that I had trained and the way that I had been mentored. And so I realized the reason that skin therapists were not successful was they didn't have enough training in California, and therefore the pain was a lack of education, and therefore the opportunity was to provide that education. So I started training at the International Dermal Institute. We established it, founded it. And within a couple of years, the students would say to me, Jane, what products should we use? And I said, well, you've got fantastic American products. And they said, no, we don't. All the products were French, Italian, German, all European. It's insane to think about it. I kept saying to Raymond at that time, are we missing something? Are we just reading the wrong magazines? There were no professional skincare products manufactured in the United States at that stage. Isn't that mad? The hair industry was dominated by American products. Redken, Paul Mitchell, Aveda had just launched, Matrix, Nexus, but not in skincare. The skincare products were European. And so there's the opportunity. Wow. We were really the first, what we now call a cosmeceutical product out the gate. It's a combination of drug-registered products, which are our sunblocks and our acne products, and cosmetics like cleansers, toners, moisturizers. And this marriage of the two was very important to the brand identity of Dermalogica. When we launched the product, we wanted to be everything that the European products were not. We wanted to have a modernity about it. We wanted to have an American personality about it. We wanted the name to be different. I didn't want to name it after myself. We called it Dermalogica because it was about skin and scents. And of course, no one could pronounce the name to begin with, and we face that in every new market. Dermatologica, and then it's always a good opportunity to say, no, Dermalogica. The brand DNA took off. People embraced it. The skin therapists loved it. It was backed with education. We were very excited. We started the company with $14,000, which we could not get a loan for, and we had no credit. But Raymond had a third share in a beach cottage in Gordons Bay that he had with friends. And he made them buy him out and liquidated $14,000 US when the rand was 1 to $1. Wow. I know, that's how old I am. It's crazy. And on $14,000 seed money, a micro loan really, we started Dermalogica. And the skin therapist embraced it. We had no creme hydratante de nuit. We had skin smoothing cream. And so we made it very efficient, very focused, very simple. And we said it simply works. And we did $1 million in the first year. It's all about the population size, let me tell you. An incredibly exciting year. Actually, it's probably in the 25 years, that's probably the most exciting year in business, other than 17 years ago when we launched in South Africa, Cherie. We were off to the races, and we were so excited. But what we identified and realized was the reason it was working, the reason it was clicking, the reason it was happening, was the passion of the skin therapist. And they were becoming more successful as a result, not as a result of the product. Sure, the product's great, but there are a lot of great products out there. But we were teaching them how to market. We were teaching them how to run their businesses. We were teaching them how to handle PR. We were teaching them how to design a service menu. We were teaching them how to design a business card. And we were saying to them, be different, be bold, be brave. Don't be the same as everyone else. Everyone else is offering that service. You find a different way to offer it. You make it your signature. You be a brand. Make your skincare center a brand. And the brand is you. It starts from you. And we just rallied our skin therapist. And it was that energy, that click of I can be successful in my own business that made Dermalogica successful. They brought us to the party. And so for 25 years, quite honestly, our product has been about making women successful in their own business. And the thing of which I'm most thankful and grateful and honored, and I love it when clients come up and say, I love Daily Microfoliant, which is our #1 selling product. Other than in South Africa, which is skin smoothing cream, and now because of the dryness, I realize why. But clients, consumers come up and thank me for the product, which is lovely. But what I really love is when a skin therapist comes up to me and says, Jane, I want to thank you. And they tell me their story. And I've heard those stories in 86 countries around the world. Because of Dermalogica, I left an abusive relationship because I can support myself. Because of Dermalogica, this happened yesterday, because of Dermalogica, I've managed to raise my 3 children on my own. Because of Dermalogica, I managed to get out of a job that was demeaning to me and not respectful. and have my own business. Because of Dermalogica, I'm the first person in my family to own their own business. And when I hear those stories, for me, that's really powerful. And it reminds me of my mum. And I think to myself about that call she made to that woman who she knew, who helped her and impacted all our lives. And then I think of the product, and I think of it in the hands of the therapist. And I know what the real success of Dermalogica is, that therapist who's been made successful. So 98% of skin therapists are women. It's an incredible opportunity. This is an amazing industry to spend a life in. And I'd love for all of you to train as skin therapists and become Dermalogica accounts. But I'd also love all of you to be clients of a skin therapist. Why? Because you're supporting a woman in business. You're supporting a woman entrepreneur. Next time you're in that center and you walk past that salon or you walk into the skincare center or you're already a client of a skincare center, ask her story because it's a good one. I promise you.